Yo, what's going on, guys? This is Dylan from rotoszzn.com, and in this video I'm going to be taking a look at the DraftKings NFL Week 2 Sunday main slate. I'm going to be going position by position, talking about guys I like, guys I don't like, and just giving my overall opinions on the slate. A few things before we get into the video, guys. I do want to ask that you like the video and subscribe to the channel. This really does help me out a ton with YouTube rankings and trying to get these videos out to more people. You'd be surprised how much simply liking the video and leaving a comment really does help out with those rankings. I'm doing videos 6 days a week, every single week throughout the NFL season. We're going to be grinding out the entire season, trying to make it as profitable as possible. So go ahead and join the community, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of that content. And then I also want to mention ROTOSZN Premium. If you are looking for more in-depth content to help get you through the season, help you out building your lineups and stuff, ROTOSZN Premium is going to get you access to my personal projections, my core plays, cheat sheets, and a whole bunch more NFL content. If you are interested in that, you can go to rotoszzn.com/premium and try premium for just $3 your first week. I do genuinely appreciate every single person who gives premium a shot. Alright, taking a look at some Vegas odds in this one. We have the Chiefs and Ravens at a 55.5 over-under. The Cowboys Chargers at a 54.5 over-under. Titans Seahawks 53. And then Falcons Buccaneers 52.5. But of course, the Buccaneers are big favorites. You can see the rest of the Vegas odds updated every day with the NFL Vegas odds and lines tool at rotoszzn.com. I just wanted to go over these top games because we do have more pretty high total games than we usually do on a normal slate. But yeah, getting into the slate, starting off at quarterback, I don't really have to mention these top guys much. You know Kyler Murray's a good play, Russell Wilson, Tom Brady, Prescott, Allen. You know all these guys are good plays. I do want to mention Russ for 1 second. Just because he does seem to start every season off super hot. He threw for 254 yards, 4 touchdowns. Big game. He did the same thing last year through like the first 5 weeks. It looked like he was going to throw 60 touchdowns and break Peyton Manning's record. But he always seems to cool off mid to late season. But right now it's only week 2. Russ should still stay hot, and I do like that Tennessee Seahawks game. Super high over-under. It should be a lot of scoring. So I do love Russ. I also wanted to mention Jalen Hurts. He's a guy that always has high fantasy upside because of his rushing ability. He threw for 264 yards, 3 touchdowns, and then ran for another 62 yards. So he's always going to be a big QB play just because of the rushing upside, and he's passing the ball great as well. Stafford had a big LA Rams debut. He threw for 321 yards, 3 touchdowns. Big game. He has so many weapons in that offense. Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, running back galore. No matter who they put in at running back, they seem to do fine. So I do like Stafford a lot in that offense. And then Tannehill, I think, is a good sleeper play. You know, hopefully his ownership is down. Just because of the bad game week 1, I'm hoping people are sleeping on the Titans offense because it's still the Titans offense. Like regardless of what happens in week 1, the Titans are going to have a good offense this year. Seahawks gave a ton of fantasy points up to the quarterback position last year. So if Ryan Tannehill's ownership is going to be low and people are overreacting to that week 1, I'll be all over Tannehill because I know that Titans offense is going to bounce back and they're going to have a good year. Jameis Winston went crazy, 5 touchdowns, only 184 passing yards. They just destroyed the Packers. I do expect Jameis to have a high ownership this week just because the price is still pretty solid and people are going to overreact to the 5 touchdowns. I do think Winston's going to have a good season and career with the Saints, but 5 touchdowns is a little more than you should expect from him. They're not going to beat every team like 38-3 or whatever the score was. Tyrod Taylor is a guy that I do think people are sleeping on a little bit. I think he's going to be a week-to-week fine GPP option at QB. Risky play, but he has that rushing upside. He threw for 291 yards, 2 touchdowns, ran for 40 yards on the ground. I think he's a GPP play every week just because he does have the rushing upside. Houston should be playing from behind in pretty much most games this season. I know they got the blowout win over Jacksonville, but they're going to be a losing team this season. They should be trailing in most games, which puts them in passing situations. So I do like Tyrod Taylor as a week-to-week GPP play, just a GPP dart kind of. I don't mind Mac Jones. He didn't have the best debut, 281 yards, a touchdown. Not horrible, but not, tournament winning. I do think he's going to be a really good quarterback for Bill Belichick, and they're going against the Jets. So I think he's a fine GPP option. And that'll pretty much do it at quarterback. Running back, again, don't really have to tell you. Christian McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook, Alvin Kamara, Nick Chubb. These guys are always in play. I don't have to tell you that. Austin Eckler, not quite the game we expected. In week 1, he ran for 57 yards, but didn't get a single target. The big thing about him was how involved he is in the passing game. And hopefully people overreact to this. Again, just like Tannehill, I hope people overreact to this and Eckler's ownership is nothing, because I'll be all over it. I know Eckler's super involved in the passing game. I'm not letting one random game, sway me away from that thought. I know he's going to have a big year in the running and the passing game, so if we get him at low ownership, I'm going to be all over it. Joe Mixon's probably going to be a high ownership guy. He ran for 127 yards, touchdown, caught 4 passes for 23 yards against Minnesota. But he has a tougher matchup against the Bears defense, so I'm going to be fading that. For whatever reason, James Robinson just isn't getting any usage. I mean, he had a spectacular rookie season, and then they make a dumb decision, in my opinion, drafting Travis Etienne. He gets injured, so you think Robinson, okay, he's back to being the bell cow back, and then he gets 5 carries and 3 targets. Basically no fantasy points. So I don't know. It's gonna be a wait and see for me on James Robinson, because it seems like Urban Meyer's just fucking with us, honestly. Ezekiel Elliott, not a ton of interest in him. Najee Harris is another overreaction. A guy I've already seen people calling him a bust after 1 game. He only had 2.8 yards per carry, 45 yards. He only had 1 catch on 3 targets for 4 yards. This guy's going to be... He played 100% of the snaps, I'm pretty sure. Okay, I don't see it here, but... Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure Najee Harris played 100% of the snaps. I think he was in on every single offensive play. And he's going to be active in the passing game. They like getting it to their backs. I think they're going to use him a lot like Le'Veon Bell. Just because it doesn't happen in his first game ever in the regular season doesn't mean it's not going to happen. It's not going to be the case. So hopefully people are overreacting on that, and Najee Harris will have a low ownership. I will be interested if that's the case. Henderson for the Rams, 70 yards, touchdown, 1 catch of 1 target for 17 yards. He played fine. He's filling in for Cam Akers. I think he's going to be, a bell cow type back. They might have Sony Mitchell taking some of the snaps away from him as the season goes along, but I do think Henderson's going to be getting most of the work throughout the season, so I do like him. Not a ton else at running back. I think you can play Chase Edmonds. He's kind of splitting opportunity with James Conner, but he is the receiving back, and backs with receiving upside are always better in fantasy. And then I guess I'll mention Ronald Jones. Bruce Arians said Ronald Jones is going to start. Now, I'm not biting on this, because we've had Arians lying about things like this in the past. He'll say one back starting and then the other back just plays the whole game. So don't overreact to what Bruce Arians said about that. I still expect Fournette to be the one getting most of the opportunity. And then going on to wide receiver. Again, Hopkins, Diggs, Metcalf, Calvin Ridley, Justin Jefferson. I don't really have to tell you about all these top guys. They're always going to be great plays. They're at the top for a reason. Amari Cooper, I've already touched on Dak Prescott. Just like last season, it seems like the Cowboys offense is just going to get tons and tons of yards every game. He had 16 targets, 13 catches, 139 yards, 2 touchdowns. The Cowboys just passed the ball all over. Dak threw for over 400 yards. And it's just like how the season started for him last season. They score a ton of points, do a ton on offense, and still manage to lose the game somehow. But yeah, up until Dak got injured, of course. But yeah, I love Amari Cooper just because he's getting tons of targets and a super high passing offense that just puts up points. Love Cooper. Cooper Kupp had a big game for the Rams with 7 catches, 10 targets, 56 yards, and a touchdown. Just like last season, he's a guy that's just going to get a ton of targets. He gets an upgraded QB. Only 6,000. I do like Cooper Kupp a lot. A.J. Brown, and this is Antonio Brown. Where's A.J. Brown? A.J. Brown and A.J. Brown and Julio Jones. I already touched on Tannehill. Hopefully people are sleeping on this Titans offense, and we can get these guys at low ownerships. That's a stack I do like a lot. Maybe bring it back with Tyler Lockett or DK, whoever. And then Antonio Brown, I guess I can go ahead and touch on him too. 6,000. I mean, dude, Antonio Brown looked spectacular. 5 catches, 121 yards, a touchdown in game 1. I'm convinced Antonio Brown is still the best wide receiver in the NFL. Let's not forget, Antonio Brown being out of the NFL for a little bit had nothing to do with his play on the field. When he exited the NFL, he exited as the best wide receiver in the NFL. And after week 1, he still looks like the best wide receiver in the NFL. He's only 6,000. I don't know how you don't play Antonio Brown in this game. High total game. I guess the only risk is, Tampa Bay's big favorites, so maybe they get up big and, you lose playing time. But Antonio Brown just looks absolutely spectacular. And 6,000, I mean, that price tag is going to continue to go up and up and up. I absolutely love Antonio Brown. Brandon Cooks for Houston. He was kind of like 5 catches, 7 targets, 132 yards. We expected Brandon Cooks to get a lot of work out of Houston this season, and he looks great. He looked great last season, and then they lose. I can't think of his name, but they lost another receiver, which just gives Brandon Cooks more and more opportunity. So I do love Brandon Cooks. Chase Claypool is always a good GPP option. I like T. Higgins a lot. Devontae Smith looked great with Jalen Hurts. 6 catches, 71 yards. His first catch in the NFL was a touchdown. That Alabama connection between Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith looked spectacular. I do like him again this week, and he's only 5,400. So that price is only going to keep going up. He's a great receiver. That price tag will continue to go up throughout the season. I think that'll about do it for wide receiver. And then tight end, Darren Waller, 19 targets against the Rams. Or against Baltimore, my bad. 10 catches, 105 yards. He caught a touchdown. Just like last season, Darren Waller's usage is just absolutely insane. He gets so many targets, so much usage. Spectacular tight end. I don't have to tell you to play him. Waller, Kittle, these guys are good tight ends. Kyle Pitts kind of busted everybody. He was the super chalk in his first NFL game just because he's so much hype coming out of college. He had 4 catches for 31 yards. I'm not afraid to continue rostering him. He is going to be a great wide receiver in the NFL. He has a lot of talent, crazy athletic. Turns into a running back once he gets the ball into his hands. Hopefully his ownership goes down a little bit. His price went up almost $1,000, and he busted some people last week. So if we get him at low ownership, I'm all over Kyle Pitts again. Rob Gronkowski, just like Antonio Brown, he's looking like the best tight end in the league again. 8 catches, 8 targets, 90 yards, 2 touchdowns, just like in the Super Bowl. I think that Brady to Gronk connection is back in full force. Last season, even when Gronk was on the team, in the regular season, he wasn't really getting used a lot. Maybe a catch, 2 catches a game. But then when that Super Bowl came, 2 touchdowns, and then obviously this big game in Week 1. I think Gronk's back to being one of the best tight ends in the NFL. And then, like I expected, Dallas Goedert outshines Zach Ertz. 4 catches, 42 yards, and a touchdown. I do think he's just the number 1 tight end going forward. I think you should always roster Goedert over Ertz. And then Cole Kmet, he played a ton of the snaps, like high percentage of snaps for Chicago. 5 catches, 42 yards. 3,700. I think he's a good value tight end. And that'll about do it, guys. That'll wrap up the, team by team or position by position first look breakdown for week 2. I'll see you tomorrow with another video. Probably going to be covering the Thursday Night Football slate. Like I said, 6 videos a week. Go ahead and sub to the channel. Check out ROTOSZN Premium. and good luck in your contest this week.
I'm a doctor. I'm here to help you.